I saw another day, only to scream into the night. Nothing ever tries to change, even if I want to realize. 'Cause I've been sitting here, same old ways, taking off without the same mistake. Darling, where you going? It won't be as simple for you.
Yo, guys. Old man Chi here, back again. Whoops, I've just realized that this is what I should be focusing on here. And it is Manchester United 2, Brentford 1 in what was, let's keep it a stack. That was a snatch and grab. It was a snatch and grab game for Manchester United. Very, very lucky to get the win. But you've got to give credit where credit is due. Big up Scott McTominay, man. Big up Scott McTominay, man. That's what I'm talking about when, you fight for the badge. Fighting for the badge and never giving up. That's all I ask from players. I think that people, in my opinion, can often overcomplicate football. And football for me is a very simple game. Effort, and then score. Teamwork, effort, score. Teamwork, effort, score. And in Scott McTominay, we saw a player who basically did that today. Because without Scott McTominay, Manchester United don't win this game. Obviously, people will talk about Onana and the fact that he made the mistake. He should have kept it out. Weak wrists, which I don't disagree with. But my worry for this team, my worry for the whole thing in general, was that this is a team that looks bereft of confidence. It's a team that looks like it's not functioning together. It's not working together. It's not in sync, really. It's not in sync at all. And I'm worried. I am genuinely worried that, we're going to get a repeat of basically what happened and what's happened several times under multiple different managers, which is that Manchester United basically, we throw another manager under the bus. We rebuild, we start again. Already people saying, get this person in, move this person in, etc. Ten Hag isn't enough. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. What do you want me to say, chat? What do you want me to say, guys? United were lucky today. The usual favorites. I mean, Bruno underperforming, Rashford underperforming, Casemiro. I genuinely don't know what's happened to Casemiro, guys. I don't know what's happened to Casemiro. I mean, was Don Perez correct? It's the same thing with Varane. This is why, I understand why Perez doesn't give contracts or 2-3 contracts to players above the age of 30. He doesn't, because he knows, what, these players are injury prone. This is going to happen. We've given these contracts to the likes of Varane and Casemiro. Varane isn't playing today. Why? Varane isn't playing today. Why? He's injured. And, low key, how good has Varane been, really? Okay, he was good for the first maybe 1-2 games was fit, but since then, Varane has not been good. Varane really has not been that great. So I don't know. I think that if you are these Manchester United players, you must be thinking, right, okay, we got the bag there. Because quite frankly, it just you just didn't know you just didn't know whether you just didn't know whether they're playing for or not. Now, to be fair, when you look at these stats, 21 shots, 8 on target, 65% possession. So I think people need to be careful in thinking that, oh, Brentford came today and dominated us and blah, blah, blah. We actually had a lot of the ball today. You know, SK says, you guys think we don't have the players to play how it... Well, of course, yeah, we don't. We definitely don't. We definitely don't. We definitely don't. I don't doubt that at all, you know. But in order to get to a player to play this once, you need to need to get the players that he wants, like Erik, like Frankie de Jong, for example. So you've got to remember, a lot of people call this on Ten Hag, but the reality is that like he wasn't able to get his first choice centre backs, midfield, and striker. You know, we got to remember that wasn't the case. You know, but still, context is also key. Obviously, their injuries out. You know, you look at Chelsea, for example. Chelsea couldn't finish. Broho then comes back from injury, and suddenly things click. So I am still willing to give Erik ten Hag time, and I want to see a Manchester United side that is at least near to full strength. Because whatever you say, it's unprecedented that you have. I think now almost all the United back line is out. So for all the criticism that Onana's going to get, and fair enough, he should get the criticism. At the end of the day, you know, De Gea. Oh, De Gea had how many clean sheets? It wasn't because of De Gea, though. Let's keep the stack. People say De Gea is the reason why. No, it was because he had pretty much the back four were fit for most last season. Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, availability, Varane and Martinez. Martinez was available for most of it. And when Varane or Martinez was injured, you could bring in Luke Shaw to step in as left-sided centre-back, which was great. That's why I'm really... Guys, when Luke Shaw... Because if we can get Luke Shaw back, that'll be big, because you can play him as centre-back, you can play Reguilon as left-back, and suddenly we might have a bit of balance. But I don't know. Because... You know, because I don't want to come across like an Onana defender. I'm not. But I also think that, like, I'm used to watching United side that, yeah, we concede a goal, but we go back and score 3. That's the United that I grew watch up. In fact, literally after the Galatasaray game, on my Sky recommendations, it was a Premier League game uploaded 3 days ago. Check out on the Premier League page. And it's literally a page of Spurs versus Manchester United 5-3. And we go down, and this is under Fergie in 2001. Glenn Hoddle's the manager of Spurs. We go down 3-0 at Old Trafford, and we come back and win 5-3. That's the Manchester United that I know. So to see, and the fact that we also, our front line, our attackers, our midfield, is fairly close to full strength. No one's really out bar Sancho. Worries me that we're not able to create chances. It worries me that we're not able to score goals. That's the worrying thing for me. Because I can always be like, well, when we get our defenders back and the fullbacks back, our defense will be better and we'll be able to create more. But the fact that attackers aren't doing anything concerns me, you know. But at the end of the day, all that said, you've got to big up Scott McTominay. You've got to big up Scott McTominay, man. Big up Scott McTominay, man, because... Like I said, about Scott McTominay, I'd have another. You know, we're talking about 3 losses back. This for me was supposed to be. This was supposed to be our period to push on. We had 5 or 4, I guess, home games. Palace at home twice, Galatasaray and Brentford. This was the period where we're supposed to. Our season was supposed to start. Get the win against Galatasaray. Get the win against Palace. Get the win against Brentford, and suddenly you're thinking, right, Manchester United might be able to do something this season. Instead, we play well against the Palace side, but that was much change. We lose 1-0 to Palace because we can't break a team that we can't even get a point against them. And then we capitulate against Galatasaray, which clearly has had some a mental effect on the players, because, like, Galatasaray, I don't know what happened. I genuinely don't know what happened. And a part of me is like, again, because people say Onana, you know, given that thing, but guys, we were ahead twice and conceded after 5 minutes. What was going on? I'm at the point where I was like, maybe we should be giving Maguire and Evans a chance. Maybe we should be giving Maguire and Evans a chance, because Varane, Dalot, Lindelof, Casemiro, even today, crap, awful. That, and maybe in fairness to Dalot's almost has been playing game after game after game, so dude's probably tired. Rashford, awful, but again, you know, Rashford's been bad. Is he playing with an injury? I don't know. All I need to know is things got to change. Things got to change. Let me look into the chat. Big up to everyone who's watching on Facebook and YouTube as well, guys. Always a pleasure. Casemiro at centre back. Nah. Although maybe you get him into the team that way. Maybe. Because now that Lindelof is injured, we do have a international break, so that's good. But if we don't get if we don't get a centre back or a back, I don't know what we're going to play. Because thank God it's an international break, because if we had to play next week with Lindelof out, who literally plays in our back four? You got Dalot, Maguire, Evans. That's it. In terms of our defenders, maybe Casemiro. You can't. Mctominay for me. You play Mctominay further forward. You know, that's what you do with Mctominay for me. You know, so we need our injured players back, man. It's not good. And I also think that we need to, whether it's the medical department or about scouting, I think we need to start shipping off some of these injury-prone players, guys. I'm not gonna lie. We need to start shipping off these injury-prone players. The Martials, if you know, even I love Shaw, ship him off. Varane. We can't keep on going into seasons when your best 11, when half of your best 11 is injury prone. That's a problem. So Varane, Martinez looks like he might not potentially recover from his foot injury. Luke Shaw, our back three are now in this class of injury prone. You add in maybe Martial there. I don't know. Big up Rob in the chat, man. Hi Rob. I hope you're doing good, mate. We got there when you win, just, and we did it. Fergie time, man. And also R.I.P. Kathy Ferguson, man. I mean, it's a bit poetic that it's somewhat poetic that you know, Fergie time, Scottish player, Kathy Ferguson, you know, like for Kathy, man, at least, like, fair enough, Scott showed at least a degree of respect. And big up Maguire for the assist. Maguire got the assist, so big him up as well. But I mean, it was a joke thing. Raymond, I was about to roast Onana for some sake. Thank God he won. Yeah, exactly. But this one's, I say, it's like, I'm not an Onana thingy, but like, I also think at the same time, I've seen a lot of De Gea revisionism. I see so much De Gea revisionism, and I'm kind of like, last season it's like, yeah, but last season we had most of our first choice. Like when we had a centre back injured, Luke Shaw came in. People forget this. Luke Shaw played left side of centre back and was great. So I want to see, before I completely judge Onana, I want to see when he plays, when he's actually able to play with a competent defense first, you know, and then maybe, and if he's boring, still make him okay, then fine, okay, get the guy, etc. But I just feel like, if I wonder how many goals De Gea would have conceded if you basically had the makeshift defense that we have now, on top of the fact that De Gea also made quite a few mistakes that cost us last season, you know. But that doesn't excuse Onana though. So putting out there, big up Matthew, man. Hope you're doing well in the chat. So we didn't win, we robbed Brentford, and I agree with you, G. Like you say, man, it is a concern the chance we create and the goals we score. It's not good enough. We need to do more, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, if you look at the people who scored goals, like like guys, you know, United's top scorers, McTominay in the league scored 2 goals. Casemiro, I think, has scored 3. Varane 1. Has anyone scored? Maybe. So I'm just trying to think. Varane scored against. No one scored against Palace. No one scored against Spurs. Rashford did score against a brilliant goal against Arsenal. Fair enough, but that's it. Like, if you look at this is why I think that, like, Yes, I know we should criticize the defense. Yes, I know we should criticize Onana, but we should also be concerned that amongst our front three in the league, they only have one goal. Because Højlund, I think, has yet to score in the Premier League. He scored 2 clutch CL goals, and I think in the EFL, but I don't think Højlund has scored in the Premier League yet. Anthony, nothing. Palestri, nothing. Sancho, enough said. Rashford, nothing, and Martial, I don't think has either. So we've got one goal from our front three. That's not good enough. That's not good enough, guys. It's not. So we got to keep it balanced here. Is what I'm saying. Is what I'm saying. But yeah, overall, I think as Matthew says that we didn't win it. We robbed Brentford, and the thing is that like did we rob Brentford? Nah, I can't. The thing is, I can't say we robbed Brentford based on these statistics. You got 21 shots, 8 on target, 65% possession. So at the end of the day, a 1-0 scoreline is not a safe scoreline for any club. If it'd been 2-0, maybe I'd give you that. But the fact that it was 1-0, it doesn't matter. That you don't know how many, especially with the new rules, how much injury time is going to be. You can't sit on 1-0, park the bus. I know Roy Hodgson can do it, and shout out to him, but not everyone can do it. And these days now, if you're going to sit on a 1-0 with 7-8 minutes of injury time, prepare to face an onslaught. That's what happened. But since from 70 minutes on, we're going to hold on to the 1-0 win, see what happens, and they paid the price for doing that. Simple as that. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm gassed. I mean, when you look at the table, I think let's look at the table quickly. I think it looks like Palace and Forest are still 0-0, which at least means that Chelsea are back to 11th. And we're 10th. So because obviously Palace have got the draw. So now our next game is obviously against Sheffield United away. Now, as bad, and I know that we're doing bad, but I'm just keeping perspective. As bad as we are still technically only 3 points from 5th and only 4 points from 4th. I know these teams have got to play, but that's how things stand as of yet. So we needed the break. We've got Brentford obviously away. United have to go and win this game. And then you've got Copenhagen at home. These 2 games, must wins. And then you maybe build some confidence to go against City and hope that we've got players back. But, Fulham away, hopefully it'll be a good win. And then Luton. Forget about Newcastle from there. You've got to win this game as well. But these league games, I'm thinking that we're probably going to lose to City. But you've got to beat Sheffield, Fulham and Luton to at least be within a chance. We have to. We have to. Let me quickly just go. So let me quickly go to. We'll probably go to doing some player ratings actually. Let's have a look. Possession is irrelevant unless you use it effectively. You're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But what I mean is that like is that when people sort of say that Brentford dominated or Brentford deserved to win or Brentford sort of, it's like I wouldn't necessarily say that you deserve if you don't have the ball for most of the game and then you then concede 2 goals in injury time. I wouldn't say that team deserved to win basically or deserve something basically. Is my point. But I agree with you obviously. Rob says you always play into the final. This is what I'm saying. Even when the game in the last, exactly. Obviously look. Champions League buying. That's basically what happened today. If you think about it, big up Scott McTominay's tech. Especially these days in the Premier League when referees are playing 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 minutes of stoppage time. So, but that said, it doesn't excuse it, and United needs to do better. I don't know what Luke Chapman's saying in the chat, so it's not. It doesn't seem United related, but at the end of the day, this is a team that clearly lacks confidence. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Maybe people say is Ten Hag, is it because he's a disciplinarian? Is it because Ten Hag is too? I don't know, guys. I don't know. All I know is this team has a weak mentality. You know, okay, you think about Onana. Okay, do you drop the guy? Do you drop him and you bring in because he has mistakes like this? But was he doing this at Ajax and Inter? I don't think so. Not to this frequency. You know. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to fix this. Other than I hope that when our fullbacks, our defenders come back, that will be better. That's literally the only thing. But I think if you're Ten Hag, you got to look at this game and think, I can't go again like this. You know, I can't, like, if I'm Ten Hag and I'm thinking, right, okay, because you know you didn't see Mainu or Hannibal in this game. And if I'm Ten Hag, looking at this being our starting lineup, you drop Casemiro now. Casemiro goes to the bench. I'm sorry. Casemiro, Bruno, and Rashford all go to the bench. If you insist on playing Bruno, who's the captain, you play Bruno here, and you have to drop one of these two. Although I think Mount was okay. You cannot play Fernandes and Mount together. These three need to go to the bench. You play Amrabat, and maybe you play Hannibal or Mainu here. For me, if I had my way, I'd play Amrabat and Mainu. Mainu's just coming back. And then put Pellistri here. And then put Garnacho here. And then, okay, you can have Mount. And then Højlund. Whatever. That's it. That's what you do. You know, Ten Hag cannot start the same lineup again. He can't. And I know the dude is stubborn. He is very stubborn, but he can't. Gee, can I ask you what your thoughts? No, do you stick with this guy or drop him? For me, let's check out number 2, see what the guy's like. We can't do any worse. You play him in the Carabao Cup. That's what I think. I think that because at the end of the day, I think that if you drop Onana now, you shatter his confidence completely. Completely, it's gone. And then if the keeper that we have, because you're saying we can't do any worse. Oh, but you can. But you can. And remember, a lot of people calling De Gea out for his mistakes. So you can. So if we're in a situation where you drop Onana and the Turksha comes in, Bunik, I think, and he's worse, then you're in a worse situation because we now have like a keeper who's low in confidence because he's been dropped, and another goalkeeper who's not particularly great. And yeah, and this did happen, you know. So I am very, and this is what I'm saying, it's like I don't really want to judge Onana until I at least see him play with our first choice defense. You know, I want to see that. And then if he's still screwing up, if he's still doing it, then it's fine. I also think it's important to remember that part of the problem and part of the reason why I think, and this is just a theory, Rob, why I think Onana isn't working is because Onana is a ball-playing goalkeeper, he needs to be able to distribute the ball to people who want to receive it, the ball to feet, right? To midfielders, to defenders, etc. Play it to feet, move, pass, move, etc. That's the type of ball-playing goalkeeper that Onana is. And when you do that, that relieves pressure off the defense and off the keepers. We don't have players, unfortunately. Like if you look at Manchester United players, I don't think many Manchester United players in the squad are good on the ball or are comfortable carrying the ball. They're not. We don't have any real good ball carriers or players that are generally comfortable on the ball, comfortable in possession. They're willing to not be in possession, you know. So my concern is that when people then compare to De Gea and then say, oh, if De Gea was, it's like, but the thing is, if De Gea was in goal, this is what people don't get at, is that players know that De Gea is not good with his feet and is also slow distribution. So what did they do? Teams then pressed us. If you notice, aside from, I think, Galatasaray, most teams this season don't actually press United. Last season they did. So yes, De Gea was saving shots, but he was saving shots because teams pressed us and won the ball from us high up the field, and then went on to, you know, score. De Gea would save, etc., etc., etc. So our playing style would be different. So I think it's important that people, and this is only my opinion, from what I get, is that if you remove a ball playing goalkeeper and you remove a player that's not good with his feet, you inevitably are going to invite pressure to the defense. And then the question's got to be asked, does this current defense, will it take that pressure? Sorry, will it take that pressure? If De Gea was in goal here, no doubt Brentford would be. It happened. I know Tony was playing, but it happened last season. I remember specifically when we went away to Brentford, when De Gea made the two mistakes, they were pressing us. We made the mistake. De Gea makes the mistake. Maguire makes the mistake. We conceded. You know, so this is the thing. It's like, it's not also, yes, it's about saving. You're right, but it's also how we play. And my worry when we drop him down, not only is the confidence issue, but the fact that if we replace him with a keeper who isn't good at playing from the back, my worry is that's going to invite unnecessary pressure to our defense, which is already bad already. But I could be wrong. Onana did keep us. Yeah, I mean, and I think this is the thing. It's just like, this is the problem with goalkeeping in general, is that, like, when you make a mistake, that mistake will be focused on. No one's going to focus on the saves that he made, 2 or 3 one-on-ones that kept us in the game in that half. They're going to focus on the mistake. That's unfortunate nature of goalkeeping. That's why with attackers, it's like, I hate that where attackers, they can be god awful, but they score one goal and everyone forgets about how awful they were. You know, but that's just how it is. David T says, good afternoon, evening. I've judged Onana already, bro. Yeah, I think a lot of people are Onana out, checking Onana out, and that's fair enough. You know, Onana should, I was like, Onana should do better, but I just think for me, my main concern really is that we're not scoring enough goals. Because even if Onana were to come good and say, you know, he saves that, like, where are the goals coming from? You know, where the goals coming from? And you know, I'm worried that when we've essentially got our fully fit, because our attackers, aside from Sancho, everyone's available. Anthony's back, Ganacho's there, etc. I don't know. Rob says, I really want Onana to come good. I'm sure he will come in the end, but I take your point. We must stick with him. Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it's just that for me, you know, you play your second choice in the cup games. So when FA Cup comes, EFL Cup games, and then if he impresses, then you can make the switch. That's what I would do. But midway through a season is probably not a good idea when we don't know what he can do yet. And if, like I said, if he actually ends up being worse than Onana in a different attribute, then we'll be in a worse situation, because then Onana's low in confidence and the new keeper's low in confidence. And then we're like, oh, God, we've got how many games to play? To be honest, you know, I wouldn't mind Tom Heaton. Tom Heaton, I would have mind throwing Tom Heaton in, but I mean, he's obviously injured, you know, so that's obviously, you know, a big loss. Let's do these player ratings, guys. Let's get the player ratings in. Because we won today, I'm going to give, because people say, I'll give Onana a 4. I'll give Onana a 4. We won today. He made the mistake, yeah. But I'm going to judge the dude based on the 90 minutes, not just on that individual mistake. I think a lot of people are going to say 2-1, etc., but they're giving him that result based on that mistake that occurred over a few minutes. If you look at the whole 90 minutes, he made 2 or 3 saves that basically kept us in the game effectively. And if he didn't make those saves, we don't go on to win the game, you know. And I still believe, I don't think that goal was solely his fault. Casemiro lost the ball, and Lindelof, I don't know what he was doing, just kicking it back into danger. You know, that was terrible. You know, so, but you know, that's my for instance. So yeah, I'll give Onana a 4. Maguire, you know what? Big up Harry. I'm going to give Harry a 7, man. I'm going to give Harry a 7, man. Harry Maguire was stable today. He got the assist for the goal that got us the win. And at the end of the day, Sancho, take note. You know, like I'm, you know, I see all these, Sancho versus Sancho. Like, listen, at the end of the day, if the dude apologizes, he's in this team. People keep on saying that Ten Hag picks his favorites as his favorites or whatever. Like, okay, but Harry Maguire's playing here. He wanted Harry Maguire, he wanted Mctominay. They all like this is the thing. It's like people talk about favorites of seat. Okay, fine. But Maguire and McTominay came on and they won us the game. McTominay won us the game. He's not playing him. So I don't understand. It's like put the club ahead of your own ego. Put the club ahead of your own ego. So Sancho, if you're listening, you're gonna get game time, bro. Say sorry, put it one side, and then you come in, and then you know what? You're probably gonna get game time. You're probably gonna get game time. You're probably gonna get game time. Are you finding a McTominay believer? I'm a McTominay believer if he plays further forward. I'm a McTominay believer if he plays further forward. If he plays further forward, I'm a McTominay believer. Play him in as potential as a number 9. Play him further forward. Don't play him. Play him here. Generally, play him here. Someone needs to play him here, please. Play McTominay further forward. I've said this from time that McTominay is actually a better player in the box. You can maybe play him as a number 10 or a second striker, because I've always said that like he's better there. He's better there. Yeah, exactly. Donny hasn't been picked by Fisher, and Ten Hag actually knows Donny. Ten Hag can work with Donny and play with him. So I don't get it. You know, like I genuinely don't get it. Like, you know, because at the end of the day, when you do that, because now what Maguire McTominay did just then, Ten Hag was going to be like, okay, I've got to bring these guys in now. I've got to bring these guys in now. You know, you prove, and for me, Ten Hag has done that. You know, for everyone saying Ten Hag has his favorites, at the end of the day, yes, okay, he started Rashford, Casemiro, etc., but he subbed them off. He made the changes. In previous games, he'd have let them play on and continue doing things. He took Casemiro off at half-time, effectively. He took Rashford off, not at 60 minutes or so. Although Bruno stayed on, but I guess he's the captain, you know. So the point is that, like, for all those who say that Ten Hag is his favorites, like, yeah, but he's taking the players off quicker and making quicker decisions. And there's no guarantee that you start a Garnacho sort of thing and you don't get the same result, you know. But, you know, we'll see what happens. SM9, play him forward, play him there. Let's go back to the player ratings. So Evans, I'll give Maguire a 7.5 actually, and I'll give Evans a 7. Johnny Evans, man, I did not think Johnny Evans would be a starting centre back for United in 2023 with Maguire. 2 ex-Leicester centre backs are playing here. But he did his job. And I think that at the end of the day, the most important trait is availability. I love Varane, but to be honest, Varane is becoming an expensive liability. He's injury prone, and even when he plays, to be honest, aside from the first 2 games, I've not rated Varane this season. I think Varane was at fault for quite a few of the goals we conceded against Galatasaray in midweek. Maybe he was playing with an injury, and now he's out injured again. we can't build our team around him. And now I understand why Perez let him go. You know, come to United, get 2-3 years, get plugs of money, play the highest level, blah, blah, blah. But we're carrying injured players, man. And speaking of injured players, Lindelof, man, I don't know why he was playing at left back when he should be right. Why not play Dalot? I don't get that. But Lindelof has had a terrible week, man. Lindelof has had a terrible week. He's had a bad week, guys. He's had a very, very bad week. So for me, Lindelof gets probably I'll give Lindelof a 4 as well, because we won the game. So I don't want to get people too low. But we won the game. But he gets a 4. Dalot, I didn't really see much from Dalot. I'm not saying Dalot was awful, but I don't think we got a lot from him. So maybe give him a 5. Casemiro was awful. Lost the ball. And hooked off a lot at halftime. To be honest, I'm going to give Casemiro a 3. Probably the lowest. I think more should be expected from this team. And you know, I just don't know whether it's because his legs are gone. I don't know. Maybe he's tired. Too many games, because, you know, for all the hate that Bruno Fernandes gets, you've got to remember that Bruno is basically, I think I read some statistics that he's basically played the most games in Europe. I think, yeah, him. No other players played more games in the last year than Bruno Fernandes has in Europe. So he's played a lot of games. You know, a lot of these guys, the World Cup, etc. So they look tired. You know, compared to Amrabat. So Casemiro's a 3, and to be honest, you know, after the international break, you know, to be honest, I don't want, if these guys are honest, Casemiro, all these players shouldn't be going on the international break. Some of these players should be resting. I do not want to hear I don't know what to hear, because the international break, people are asking international breaks, like, it's a worry, because we have injured players and we have players who are clearly tired. We're at bare bones right now of this squad, and then they're going on to an international break. What happens if we get injuries? Guys, as much as people clown Maguire, what happens if Maguire gets injured? What happens if Maguire gets injured? Then what? You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. We can't have that, man. We can't. Yeah, we need stability in this team. Like you say, these injury-prone players need to move on. I would stick with Harry. Yeah, for me, against Sheffield United, you might as well stick with Harry, and away, stick with Evans and Maguire, I think. Stick with them too. For me, we don't need them against... we have to try something else against City at home, but for Sheffield United away, I think we should be able to stick with these guys, and hopefully our fullbacks will come back. Amrabat... okay, I'll get Amrabat a 6. More physical tenacity there. You know, he gives a bit of dynamism in the midfield. But, you know, I look at Amrabat right now and I'm thinking, you know, how much better is Amrabat than Fred? Really? You know, I'm not saying that he's bad, but at least with Fred got you G's, and Fred pressed a lot. You know, Fred got G's, he pressed a lot, he won the ball back up the field and helped us to sort of to the counter-attack. He did that. We missed that, to be honest, from Fred. And I see Amrabat, you know, he can come back, he's got tenacity, etc. But yeah, I like him, but I just don't see, when I'm looking at improvements to this team from last season, I don't know anything in this squad where I'm like, right, that with the players that we signed, there's been an improvement. Maybe Højlund, but that's as far as it goes. Bruno, Bruno a 4, you know, but I mean, I've said this before and said it again. Fernandes and Mount together can't play together, and I'll leave it at that. Mount, I'll give a 6. I think Mount had a good game, all right game today. But at some point, Ten Hag has got to make a decision, because he can't persistently play these two. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. They occupy the same space. It's like, if people remember when Sanchez and Pogba were together and how that didn't work. It doesn't work. Rashford has just lost confidence, man. Free, man. His confidence is gone. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone, man. And to be honest, I think if you're Ten Hag, you've got to drop him. You got to drop it, man. You got to drop. You got to drop Ten Hag. You got to drop him. You got to drop Rashford and bring in Garnacho. You know, for me, if I'm Ten Hag, this side is Palestri, this side is Garnacho, and then Højlund's here, and then okay, you can play him out there. That's fine. You drop Bruno completely. But if you're going to play him because the captain, you play Bruno here, you play Palestri here, you play Garnacho here, and you play Højlund here. That's it. And then you can bring on Martial, Rashford, etc. You got to drop Martial or one of these two and Casemiro in the next game. These three cannot all play next game. They can't. Højlund, I give a 6. Did okay, hold up, a bit quiet for the game, but you know, you need service. It is what it is. And obviously, special mention to obviously made 5. Anthony came on, didn't really do much, to be honest. 5. Garnacho came on, I think made a big difference. I'll give Garnacho probably a 7. Scott McTominay gets a 9 because Scott McTominay single-handedly won us that game. Scott McTominay gets a 9 and is my man of the match. Eriksen and Martial really should have scored that. I don't know why he was onside. I don't know what's happened to the dude, but give him a 5 and Eriksen likewise. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the chat. Let's have a look at some comments. Casemiro has been, I mean, he's been it for more than that. I would argue David T. I'd argue it's actually been more. I just think that we papered over the cracks when we win it. And this is what I'm saying is that, like, when we win, like right now, when people look at the game, they're going to be, when they look at a person to blame, they're just going to focus on Onana. You know, oh, Onana made the mistake. Or Onana sort of, what they're not going to looking at is the player, the other players that are contributing to it. You know, they're not looking at that. And that's the problem in my personal opinion, you know. That's why Casemiro, Bruno, Rashford will still start again probably. Bruno's also been played opposite. He has. Yeah, I said the stability question. Oh, sorry, yeah, we need stability in the team. I will stick with Harry and Evans until next game, but like you said, we need to move on. Yeah. Didn't watch how did McTominay turn to prime was a bro, man. McTominay was a striker at the United Academy. And I've always said several times that if McTominay plays further forward, United can cook. He's the highest goal scorer in European qualifying right now. Why don't we play McTominay further forward? Why? I don't get it. I'm not saying he's a creator, but, you know, maybe play him as a second striker. Imagine McTominay playing as a second striker alongside Højlund, for example. You know, for me, that try it. Try something, guys, because you need to try something. And at the end of the day, that touch from McTominay for the first goal, like, come on. You know, I want to see, you know, I really want to see Ten Hag take some responsibility and make some big decisions during the international break. Because I don't want to come to international break and I see the exact same team. Even if he says, like, you know what, I'm going to drop Rashford and I'm going to play, you know, I'm going to play Scott McTominay behind Højlund or whatever. Fair enough. That's a big change. Let's see. It's funny because we let our head physio go last year and he still hasn't been in place. We've had, yeah, well, that's an institutional problem, David T. Institutional problem. Maguire has Solin. He is good at distributing the ball. So is Evans, to be fair. Lindelof is actually not bad, but I mean, I think at least with Maguire, at least hopefully with Maguire and Evans in the cinema, we can defend from crosses better. Hopefully, that's the only thing that I can think of. You know, if we've got those two, because you know they're decent, good in the air, we should be able to defend from crosses better, and corners. Rob's after the initial break, Enoch said we might have a couple of more. Exactly. Exactly. Even if our fullbacks come back, if we have like, if we can get Wan-Bissaka, Reguilon, Shaw, Malacia even, you know, 3 out of those, then I'll be happy. Because I think that I don't know what happened to Varane. Varane is obviously retired, so he's going to rest for a bit. Let him rest. And then you have, for me, play Varane and Maguire when Varane comes back. But yeah, the main thing is our fullbacks because we don't have a lot of width overlying, and I think if Shaw comes back, that'll be that'll be good for the team. Should you play McTominay as striker? No. I think we can play. You can't. I don't think you can drop. No, because when you play, it's the graveyard shift. You need to be able to create, and that's the problem. Like what you'll find is if you put in McTominay striker, it's going to be the same thing as other strikers. It'll be graveyard. He won't be being supplied, etc., etc. That's what's going to happen. So for me, you play McTominay behind the striker. So that allows him to support Højlund or to go for a forward himself. That's what I would do. And McTominay Højlund duo could react. Well, this is what I'm saying, especially on set pieces, exactly. But whether Ten Hag will do that or not, I don't know. And at the end of the day, it's funny because how many people were like, get McTominay out of the club, get Maguire out of the club. At the end of the day, if those players had gone, who actually replaces those players? There you go. Big up Ramos Vasquez in the chat as well. Mainu will improve as much. It's insane. I rarely rate argument. Yeah. We need to get Mainu in here ASAP. I mean, was he on the bench? He was on the bench. He wasn't on the bench. Hannibal was, but he wasn't on the bench. Yeah, I see him in training. I see him in training. I thought he was on the bench against Galatasaray. Or maybe I'm wrong. Palestri's there. Van der Beek's there, man. Jeez, man. I don't know what's happened to Van der Beek, man. Because I look at this and I go, how can Van der Beek be worse than how Casemiro's been? Like, you forget. I mean, he's there. He didn't come on. Hannibal's there. Like in an alternative world, if you had Amrabat, Van der Beek, and Hannibal, or Hannibal here, Amrabat here, and Van der Beek, in an alternative universe, that would actually be seen as a good midfield. I don't get it. I don't get it. Manu's up to agreement. Yep, exactly. I just hope he comes back for soon. I hope he comes back for soon. That's my wish, guys. I really do. Yeah, guys. I'm gonna round things up here, but I mean, thank goodness the international break has come, because I don't think I could. And as Ram says, I hope this is the turning point. I really do for United and Ten Hag, because we can't. Yeah, I don't understand it either. I don't get it. There must be something that I'm missing, because I look at the midfield there and I'm like, VDB, Hannibal, Amrabat. Why not? And when even VDB's come on, I'm like, I'm not saying Van der Beek is great, but he's not crap. I don't get it. But yeah, I hope it's a turning point, guys. I really do. I'm glad the international break has come, and hopefully we don't get injuries. But yeah, guys. To be honest, I'm just happy that United aren't like. I mean, look at the table. Go back to the table. It's still. I think this game is going to finish 0-0 between Palace and Forest by the looks of things. I've got to be thankful right now that after 8 games, United are not in the bottom half of the table, and we're 10th. But I hope amongst hope that we can somehow turn this around. Because if we don't, well, you know what happens. Last comment from as says, I became out after the loss to Gala. Hopefully I took them to turn things around. I don't enjoy sick man just get the sack. I mean, the thing is, for me, it's just like who comes in. who comes in, you know, because you got to have a manager that's going to come in and is going to be able to work with these players. And at the end of the day, we've seen, much like what happened with Graham Potter when he went from Brighton to Chelsea, when you're at clubs where there's not much is expected from you, of course you don't have pressure, you're allowed to perform. Ten Hag was brilliant at Ajax. When you don't have the pressure to perform at a high level at a big club, then you can do whatever. But when you do, there's problems. You know, Conte, all these people. No, it's the same thing. So I've always been like, I don't care who the manager is, as long as we have the best manager for Manchester United to win and who will win with these players. But at the end of the day, I'm looking around, I'm like, I don't see any. And I just can't be asked with another managerial changeover, another project, different things, just a mess. So if I'm honest, you know, United are probably going to have to do an Arsenal and be like Arteta and just ride it out. It is what it is. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow on Twitter at WeAreUnitedX and smash the notification button. Have a nice day, guys, and cheers. Peace.